Breaking news, breaking news. The Big 12 plans to sanction Texas Tech over its intentions to play Brendan Sorsby in the 2026 season. The Big 12 has filed a legal complaint in a federal court to clear its way to be able to do just that. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do us well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. And do not forget to ring the notification bell because you do not know when we're coming on live once again. You do not know, I do not know, nobody knows, but we here at Peek Around the Corner, we follow where the story takes us. And it takes us to this morning on June 15th. Breaking news, breaking news. If you want to support this independent national rebel outpost so we can do the work that we provide for you all on a daily basis with a donation, just hit that $sign where you make a comment and I'll get to your super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. I first want to thank the little general, my wife, for enabling us, letting us have this live show this morning. This was unplanned. We have other plans. I have other plans. We have to get other stuff done. But we are going to be here as long as it takes to cover this story. And I got a feeling that this is going to be a fast-moving story. I think there's going to be counter punches going back and forth. We, a couple of days ago, we sang the song Won't Back Down by Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Yesterday, look, this was the chatter behind the curtain. There was no way that the Big 12 could afford not to do anything. That they had to act. It cannot be the Big 12 that backs down. The Big 12 cannot possibly back down because they are fighting for everything right now. In this crazy world in college sports, they got to look credible. They have to do what they have no other choice. You might not like what they're doing. You might think it's risky. You might think, how can they upset their best college football program right now in the conference when the Big 12 absolutely needs to go into the playoff and win a playoff game this season in 2026. But the Big 12 had to act. And they, in their complaint that they filed today, they basically said it would harm the conference in such a degree if they did not act. And what are they acting on? Well, the Big 12 wants to sanction Texas Tech for planning to play Brendan Sorsby. They're not waiting to see if they make a decision to play Brendan Sorsby. They're sanctioning Texas Tech on their planning, or they're clearing the way that they can sanction them on Texas Tech planning to play Brendan Sorsby. In the complaint, in the reports this morning, the Big 12 has asked Texas Tech to stand up and say, we're not going to play a player who knowingly bet on the sport of college football. We're not going to play him. The Big 12 has asked the Red Raiders to say that in the open. We're not going to play Brendan Sorsby. And according to the complaint, according to the reports this morning, Texas Tech has refused to say it. So the Big 12 is asking a federal court an injunction to clear the way that the Big 12 has the space needed as an organization, a private organization that has bylaws that every member agreed to. They're asking the federal court, they're being proactive here. They want the space to sanction the Big 12. And they're not only filed a complaint against Texas Tech, they filed a complaint against the Texas Tech AG, the president of Texas Tech, the athletic director of Texas Tech, as who else? There's a list of names, and we'll get to it here in a little bit. Before we get to it, I just want to give this. This is just. This is so dumb. Not by the Big 12. This is so dumb by the Red Raiders. I'm not anti-Red Raiders. Well, look, I'm anti all of you guys. If you're not a Golden Gopher, I'm anti all of you. But I'm not anti-Texas Tech more than I'm anti the Cyclones or the Jayhawks or the Wildcats or all the Cougars in the Big 12. You're all on the same level. So I just want you to know that coming from me. But this is so dumb. This juice is not worth the squeeze. The Red Raiders, they have to back down. If they don't, then you remember all those crazy scenarios that we've talked about in the last couple of days? And if you watch the College Football Mafia show earlier this week, I was on with Nathan Brown, the Obama, who was very kind to let me join the show and have some fun with them. We talked about those crazy scenarios, but this could do irreparable harm. This fracture could run so deep in the Big 12 if the Red Raiders don't step down that it could cause something unthinkable in the next year ahead. Not right now. Not right now, but it could cause something unthinkable. The sanction that the Big 12 is looking at is a monetary sanction, a fine, and or a possible ban in the Big 12 championship game. And I don't know how, I do not know how, again, I'm just talking here. It's just me, it's just my opinion. I do not know how the Big 12 sanctions the Texas Tech Red Raiders for planning to play Brendan Sorsby and not ban the Red Raiders from playing in the Big 12 championship game. Because you're looking to maintain your credibility as a conference. You cannot have the Red Raiders take a spot in the Big 12 championship game if they play Brendan Sorsby. All right, let's get to it, everybody. I do want to thank, I know this is an unscheduled, and it is most likely that we are going to come on later again today. This is going to be a fast-moving story. A lot of things are happening today. Florida Man is in the house. Bruce Harris, Skaven, yes. Mr. Monkey says, first, Jayhawk. Dave B's in the house. Mama Duck, Clemson Tiger, thanks for coming on in. Daniel Gorby, RTO Snap, go Pokes. Taylor on the Tube, go Pokes, is in the house. Preston from Greensboro, North Carolina, he's looking for that championship in the I Do Declare competition. Mick Stevens is in the house. Yeah. Skaven yes is saying, thank you, little general. Absolutely. Thank you, honey. I appreciate the time you are giving us. This was an unscheduled live breaking show. The Architect, Kenneth Maynard, the Pirate Gator Maynard is in the house. Rod SM8. The Big 12 is wise to file first and go to the federal court, change the venue, put it in the federal jurisdiction, should result in a higher chance of success. Briggs of Disaster is in the house. Excommunicate Texas Tech to show Cody Campbell what happens when you mess with the P2. This is not a P. Well, this is everybody. Everybody agrees on this. You cannot play a player who has bet on the sport. You just can't do it. You can't do it. Stormy Cyclone is in the house. The Big 12 is screwed either way on this, so just do the right thing, and they did. Joaquin Morales, good morning, Greg, PATC fam, go Sun Devils. Vox Quindaro, who did not get me confused with Elvis Presley the other day, just to put that on, when he heard me saying, just to put that in the clear, Vox Quindaro did not confuse me with the great Elvis Presley. The Big 12 will not throw Texas Tech out. If it does, it loses all the gore and the exit fee money. If Texas Tech goes independent, they will have to pay all the gore and exit fee money. Interesting. Interesting information from the Vox. Buckeye Game Day is in the house. The Big 12 should evict Texas Tech. Durrell, CRH, Texas needs to leave the Big 12. Wow. Or get kicked out. Greg has given us a breakfast burrito. We do not eat burritos in the family. Maria never ate a burrito until she came to the United States. Burritos are only eaten in a couple of different states in the 32 states of Mexico. It's a foreign food to the little general. Mr. Maggio is in the house. Nick Kelso, the Arkansas Razorback. Bo Stacker is here. John Peterson is here. This is the first stroke of common sense. This is broke a week ago. Thanks, Big 12. Outlaw Skis is in the house. Woof Woof Doggo is here. Eva Badger is here. Thank you, Eva Badger, for coming on in. All right, let's get to it. Breaking news, breaking news. You know how it works. Later on, we'll open up the phone lines. When you give us a call, the floor is yours. Super chats. Super chat, the floor is yours. Any other comment, I will pick and choose depending on the relevancy of what is happening here on our live show. All right, let's get to it. Breaking news, breaking news. Big 12 plans to sanction Texas Tech over its intentions to play Brennan Sorsby. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, just broke this a little bit ago. The Big 12 is pursuing legal action against Texas Tech. Texas Tech Attorney General over Brennan Sorsby. Red Raiders. Red Raiders. Red Raiders. You've got to step down from this. You've got to back away from this. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports. The Big 12 has started down the legal path to potentially sanction Texas Tech over its intention to play quarterback Brennan Sorsby. On Monday, the conference filed a 47-page complaint against Texas Tech. 47 pages. Now, a peek around the corner in this breaking news show, we're not going to go over the 47 pages. We might go through a couple of them, ones that I pointed out, ones that you want to point out to me in a DM or in a super chat. Let me know. Maybe in their second live show later today, we'll go through it. But on this live show, we just want to give you the bullet points. People are joining the show because they have not heard what has happened here. The conference, the Big 12 conference, has filed a 47-page complaint against Texas Tech. The Texas Attorney General, the system's chancellor, the school president, and the athletic director. The Big 12 Conference has filed a 47-page complaint against Texas Tech, the state of Texas Attorney General, the system chancellor, the school president, and athletic director in seeking a declaratory judgment and a preliminary injunction to enable it to enforce its bylaws. Its bylaws, its own bylaws that everybody signed on to as a private association, an organization called the Big 12. In this landmark case, a league filing legally against one of its members. A league is filing legally against one of its members. The Big 12 is asking a federal court to bar Texas Tech and the state's Attorney General, Ken Paxton, from preventing the conference from exercising its right under its bylaws to sanction Texas Tech. According to the complaint obtained by Yahoo Sports, which was filed in the Northern District of Texas in Dallas. The league, the Big 12, is not seeking damages in the filing and is not challenging a state court ruling deeming Sorsby eligible, but is instead asking a federal judge to permit it to take action against the Red Raiders in light of legal threats made from the Texas Attorney General, whose letter to the league last week seems to have triggered the Big 12's filing. The letter from Paxton's office demanded that the league refrain from exercising its governance authority, characterizing any sanction as an antitrust violation, which was stupid, and threatening joint liability against the conference. Perhaps most notably, the complaint lays out the conference's intention to sanction Texas Tech if it were to play Sorsby, who has acknowledged to betting on its own team while the freshman at Indiana violated one of the sport's most sacred policies. According to the filing, Big 12 conference officials, university presidents, and athletic directors have requested that Tech not play Sorsby, but Texas Tech has not agreed. Texas Tech has not agreed to come out and say, we're not going to play Sorsby, resulting in the conference considering a variety of sanctions. The Big 12 presidents and chancellors are scheduled to meet later Monday afternoon. That is later today, ladies and gentlemen. One of the many reasons I anticipate PATC coming on later again this evening. It's a strong possibility. It is not a given. Though a decision on sanctions is not necessarily expected then. So we should not expect a decision today, Monday, what sanction the Big 12 would be handing out to the Texas Tech Red Raiders. If a vote were to occur, however, the complaint says some of the potential sanctions the board could consider under the bylaws include monetary sanctions and or a ban on competing in the Big 12 championship game. There is considerable concern within the Big 12 that the league will incur reputational harm and irreparable damage to public and member trust in the integrity of league compensations. If Sorsby were to play and is concerned that the Red Raiders would take a spot from another school in the league championship game with a player that has acted contrary to conference values. In an industry that rarely agrees on anything, there is finally an issue that everyone seems to agree on, other than Texas Tech and the Attorney General. Universities should not field players who have bet on their own team's games in college athletics. The Big 12 writes in the filing. The league is asking a federal judge to grant an injunction to allow to exercise its First Amendment rights, to invoke its authority under its bylaws, dismiss Patton's claims that any sanction is an antitrust violation, and grant the Big 12 the right to penalize a member school for violating the Doormat Commerce Clause, which prevents states' governments from enacting laws that impact competition or commence across a variety of states. The Big 12 is concerned with Texas Tech's stated plans, communicated by Texas Tech to the conference, and now backed by independent threats from the Attorney General to field a student athlete in conference competitions despite admitted wagering conduct that is both illegal and in direct conflict with the ethical standards and public trust on which the Big 12 competition depends, the complaint says. The Big 12 and its member institutions have no interest in being required to endorse or even appearing to endorse unethical and indeed unlawful conduct that strikes at the heart of athletic integrity, the suit reads. And finally, in the article by Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports, the threat that gambling poses to the integrity of athletic competition has been understood and has been borne out by scandal over a century, the complaint reads. The history informs the conference's values and governance practices and explains why these values are non-negotiable. The complaint lists as defendants Paxton, Texas Tech University, Texas Tech University System, Chancellor Brandon Creighton, and President Lawrence Gavranovich, and Athletic Director Kirby Holcutt. When reached on Monday, the Big 12 officials declined to comment on the filing. The Sorsby case has gripped college athletics. Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Big 12 files a legal complaint in federal court trying to clear the way for the Big 12 to be able to act on its own bylaws as a private organization, have the ability to sanction the Texas Tech Red Raiders for planning and possibly playing a player knowingly who admitted gambling on the game of college football. That is where we're at. Now, I have not heard. Keep your head on a swivel as we do this live show. Obviously, I've been working on trying to get this live show up and going. I just read you the article, the breaking news of Ross Dellinger. Has there been any comments from Texas Tech University yet, from Cody Campbell yet? I do not know. I would advise Cody Campbell not to send out his customary tweets today on X, but we shall see. But let me know. If there's any news as we do this live show. Keep your head on a swivel. We've got Mr. Mazzio starting us off here. Tech to the Big Ten, book it. Thank you for the $2 holler, Mr. Mazzio. Before all of this happened, the Red Raiders were not in the Big Ten expansion plans for this next wave of disruption that is going to happen in college sports. I have never heard a word of Texas Tech being in any plans. So this definitely is not happening anytime soon. But thank you, Mr. Mazzio. Thank you for the $2 holler. Very much appreciated. Evil Badger, $5 holla. Sorry, Texas Tech fans, but Comrade Cody must learn money can't buy you anything you want. Thank you for the $5 holla, Evil Badger. I wonder if we are going to hear I wonder if we're going to hear from anybody from Texas Tech today. Any more of those videos? Did Texas Tech did they have word that the Big 12 was going to do this? File in federal court today? I'm wondering if they could take it all back, what they wrote, what they did in that 22-minute Here is, let me show you Ross Dellinger's post here. Here is the line of the Big 12 complaint that gives us a window into the possible sanctions being discussed by the presidents and chancellors. A fine or ban in the school from playing in the league championship game. Number 66, paragraph 66, line 66 of the complaint, 47-page complaint. To this date, no vote on sanctions has taken place because of the legal uncertainty created by the Attorney General letters discussed below and the specific threat by the Texas Attorney General. If a vote were to occur, some of the potential sanctions the board would consider under the bylaws include monetary sanctions and or a ban on competing in the Big 12 championship game. And here is the complaint. The complaint, again, it's against the Texas Tech University system, the chancellor of Texas Tech University system, Brandon Creighton, in his official capacity, president of Texas Tech University, Lawrence Skovanec, in his official capacity, and against athletic director of Texas Tech University, Kirby Holcutt, in his official capacity. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be looking for more reports here. The choice of venue is North Dallas, I guess, a Dallas division. Greg, I told you we were going down the rabbit hole. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we were. Yes, we are. We're going deep down in the rabbit hole. Now, again, a new letter from the Kansas Attorney General to the Big 12. Justin Lucas. Can you DM me that on X? Justin Lucas or anybody else if you got a chance? I do not see that. Can somebody send that to me? Thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. Wow. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. I apologize if I mispronounced the name. Chris W. Kobach or Kobach. We're going to call him Kobach unless you tell me differently. Chris Kobach. The Big 12 should not be intimidated by Texas AG's office. The Kansas Attorney General's office stands ready to assist the Big 12. Holy smokes. The Attorney General, Chris Kobach, of the state of Kansas. Dear Commissioner Yormark and Chairman Gurad, my office has reviewed a letter sent to the Big 12 Conference by the Texas Attorney General's office. The letter threatens the conference if it convenes and sanctions Texas Tech under the Big 12 rules and bylaws regarding the actions of a player on the Texas Tech football team accused of gambling. The Texas letter asserts that the Big 12 would violate antitrust laws for doing so. The antitrust claims made by the Texas Attorney General's office are incorrect. To assert that the Big 12 may not convene and sanction a conference member's actions determined to be in violation of the conference rules undermines the contractuality agreed purpose of being a member of the Big 12 conference. Absolutely. And it also is not consistent with legal precedent. Kansas has 2 Big 12 members, the state of Kansas, Kansas State and University of Kansas. Accordingly, Kansas, like other states, is concerned about the integrity of conference competition. As ESPN has reported, the reaction around college sports has been nearly unanimous that the Big 12 Conference, like other conferences, should enforce its bylaws to protect the integrity of the game and those consumers who watch college football. Indeed, failure to consider and possibly sanction a Big 12 team in violation of conference rules would erode the purpose and integrity of the governing rules and process that provides a remedy to address any violations. It is well established that conference discipline does not, standing alone, amount to antitrust violation. The Texas letter generally mentions broad propositions of antitrust law that are not in line with legal precedent. The Texas position that a per se analysis applies to the Big 12 sanctions decisions ignores the controlling precedent from the Supreme Court, and then it goes on and on. We're not going to go through all that. The Big 12 Conference should not be intimidated. While I do not take a position on the underlying facts or what action, if any, the Big 12 should take in response to Texas Tech athlete at issue, it is important for the integrity of college football that the conference convene to analyze any applicable sanction. It is my understanding that the Texas Tech athlete was granted a temporary injunction by the Texas State Court against the NCAA, not the Big 12, that reinstated his athletic eligibility for the 2026 college football season. The injunction does not appear to prevent the Big 12 Conference from convening and considering a sanction against Texas Tech or the athlete consistent with its own rules and bylaws. The Board of Regents case cited above recognized the rules, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Justin Lucas. Thank you for letting me know. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I will say this. I do not know. Call me a schmuck. Vox Quindaro, Jurad, and Kobach, okay. Jurad and Kobach. Now, Vox Quindaro, you know I'm not going to, you know that I know that you know that I know that you know that I know that I'm not going to say it correctly again. I'm just not going to be able to say it correctly. But I thank you for trying to get me to say something correctly. I do appreciate it, Vox. Do appreciate it. Now, I might be a schmuck. I might be naive. But how I'm not going to ask the question, how did we get here? Because we know the answer. But the Red Raiders have to step down. I mean, there is no other. And give them a graceful exit. Like, I don't mean exit out of the conference. I mean an exit to get out of this. Like, there's a way, there's still a chance. I mean, the Red Raiders, it's harder now because the Red Raiders did that 22-minute video. I mean, I don't know. If the Red Raiders step away from this, if they told Sorsby, we can't play you, we're not going to be able to play you, does Sorsby then go and sue them at this point? I don't know. But the Red Raiders, They are under no obligation. Texas Tech should go out there and say, after all this concern, we want to be a member of the Big 12. We want to be a member. We're trying to. The system is broken. You can do that whole song and dance. The system is broken. We support the court order. We're going to give this young man all the opportunity in the world to beat his addiction. We're going to support him. We're going to pay him some of that money, but we can't play him. If Texas Tech came out and did that today, okay, they have a little bit of egg on their face, but it's all going to be wiped away. By the fourth game of the season, after the Houston game, when they've been playing Will Hammond or somebody else, everything's going to be fine. A little bit of a look. Cody Campbell does not get along well with Brett Yormark. Okay, that's just the way it is. Cody Campbell does not like conference rules. Okay, he does not want the conferences and the schools controlling anything anymore. You see that by the Saving College Sports Plan. It's just the way he is. So there's a huge philosophical differences between Cody Campbell and the Big 12. Cody Campbell versus a lot of people. But somebody at Texas Tech. The problem with this is you've got the president, you've got the chancellor, you got the athletic director, you got everybody on record now, and they're all going to have to come together and take a step back. They're all going to have to take a step back. And if they don't, I'm at a loss. I do not understand it. Brendan Sorsby's a good football player. He's a young man who's going to get another chance. He's a young man who's going to get a lot of opportunity in his life. He may get a chance to play in the NFL. But he's no sure. I mean, if you want to talk about only football, he's no sure bet for the Red Raiders. He's a good quarterback. Good quarterback. I think the last 11 November games that he's played in, he's 0-11. He's not like, this is not worth it. And even if he was a sure bet, still not worth it. One season, 10 regular season games. And you are threatening the relationship with the Big 12. Because, and I said this could go really, 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 really bad, really, 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 really quick if the Red Raiders do not back off at this point. Because if they get in the battle with the Big 12 over the courts, if Texas Tech wins, if Sorsby actually plays, and if they win, the relationship is going to be, I think we have to start talking. If the Red Raiders don't step away from this, I think we have to start talking in the most extreme versions of this story. And that is the Red Raiders will no longer be a member of the Big 12. Eventually, that's where this is leading to, if the Red Raiders don't back off. Over Brendan Sorsby, who's got a gambling addiction. He's trying to fight that gambling addiction. Congratulations to the young man. I hope you win that battle. But to put him in the football field right after he gets out of, this is And I understand the Red Raiders. Oh, we're monitoring his phone. We're making sure he gets his therapy, whatever. That's all good. You can do all of that and not play him. You can still pay him if you want, but you can't play him because you are affecting the other Big 12 schools, the competition. The storylines of the Big 12 are fascinating this year already. They don't need this. The Big 12 does not need this, right? The Big 12 is looking to cement themselves. They're hopefully can win another playoff game at some point, hopefully this year, right? You've got BYU, you've got Bear Bachmeier, you've got LJ Martin, you've got Kalani Sitake, you got a BYU football program that is on the edge of getting into the playoffs. You've got the Utah Utes, you've got the Holy War, you've got Noah Fafita, you've got possibly Rich Rod, the emergence of West Virginia getting back up in competition. You've got storyline after storyline after storyline, and you are going to rob the Big 12 of all those storylines if Brendan Sorsby plays. You might even rob the Big 12 of any access to the college football playoffs this year. You are risking all of that. Texas Tech is risking everything for 10 regular season games. It makes no sense. And I used to say here, that somebody at Texas Tech has got to step up and take over. Somebody's got to check Cody Campbell. But now I can't even say that because everybody's on record. Everybody went in front of the camera like they were a hostage. Lorenzo Haynes says John Kurtz and On3 that said that Texas Tech athletic director doesn't really agree, but he wants to keep his job. They won't report it because On3 only has one source. I've heard some of that. Again, I mean, it's interesting, but it doesn't really matter. The athletic director already said what he said. That's the problem. That's the problem with every leader coming out and doing that stupid 22-minute video. Now they're all out there on a limb. Nobody can, it's more difficult to walk anything back. You want to keep your flexibility and your positioning. And they all went out there. Now, in regards to Texas Tech athletic director, I am going to be incredibly vague. I have to. So I'm going to say the following. Allegedly, Kirby Holcutt has not been one of the favorites in the Big 12 Conference when it comes to his being the athletic director at Texas Tech. It has nothing to do with the football program. It has nothing to do with any of the sponsor sport at Texas Tech. I'm going to be very vague, but the relationship between Brett Yormark, allegedly, and Kirby Holcutt, not good. The relationship between Cody Campbell and Brett Yormark, allegedly, not good. But the Kirby Holcutt and the Brett Yormark, that's never really said in public. No one would. Allegedly, it's not good. Way before any of this happened. I cannot tell you the reasons why that is, but so there is multiple layers of a disconnect between the Big 12 and Texas Tech before any of this happened. And it has nothing to do with the Red Raiders NIL money or all the great things. That it has nothing to do with that. It's just there is a perception that Texas Tech has a personnel problem at the university. An incredible fan base, like a lot of support, really good brand, doing excellent things, big school, West Texas, but some of their leaders may not be perceived as high level. Let me put it to you this way. Let me just throw this out there. A lot of presidents, chancellors, athletic directors, right? When they've got a certain job, they want to perceive as doing a good job, right? They want to toe the line for the university, but they also want to project a competence, a professionalism outside of the university because they're all looking for the next job. Almost all of them are looking for the next job, right? And when it comes to presidents, they want to rub shoulder with presidents of universities that are considered academically research at a higher level. They want to be able to talk to them, network with them, because at some point that president wants a shot at one of those jobs, just like a head coach. When you're a head coach of a certain team, you want to get the higher land, right? If you are a G5, G6 coach, you want to play in the Power 4. You want to be a head coach of the Power 4. If you're a head coach of a Power 4 lower program, you want to be able to get to a Power 4 head coach of a higher program, so you get more resources, right? Everyone's looking for the next job at a higher level. So there's a peer pressure that you act accordingly so you can get hired by somebody else. Well, I'm just going to let you know. The people that were in that 22-minute video, none of those people are really looking for the next job because it ain't going to be there. They're not risking anything. That's another problem with this. Sorry to be so blunt. I'm being as vague as possible, but I'm also... Kirby Holcutt is not going to get hired, allegedly, by any other Power 4 team. So, school. And neither is the president. I'll keep it at that. That's another problem with this whole thing. Anyways. Woo! Stormy Cyclone, 5 years ago. Hunter Deckers, $5 gamble. They lost him. Inserted redshirt freshman Rocco Beck. Turned out just fine. Trust the system, Texas Tech. Absolutely. You've got all that money. You've got all that resources. You've got all the momentum. You've got a growing brand, even outside of the state of Texas. This is just a bump in the road. But you're making it. I have no idea what Texas Tech is thinking. I don't know if this is a pride thing. We have all these football programs have gambled on it. I don't mean that. They've all invested in players that did not work out. They've all lost money. All of them. At some point or another. The Red Raiders just made it to the Big 12 championship game. Next year's class, the year after that, the year after that, you're going to have sensational recruiting classes. You're going to have opportunities to pick up the best players in the portal. The Red Raiders are just fine without Brendan Sorsby. What are you doing? What are you doing? It makes no sense. Other than you can't just take a step back. Now, is Cody Campbell, now it has to be obvious to everybody, right? It has to be obvious to everybody at this point that Cody Campbell loves control. He loves the control. He's the one controlling all this, allegedly. Can Cody Campbell take a step back and say, all right. Okay, can he meet with his people and say, okay, we'll give Sorsby some money. We'll help him get to the NFL supplemental draft. We'll throw out a letter saying we acknowledge everybody's concerns. We've never meant to, to cause this chaos. We just want to support the young man. We wanted to follow the NCAA, the ruling in the courts. All right. Can Cody Campbell do that? Yes or no? Because if not, the Attorney General of the state of Texas has already gotten involved. The more you go down this, as Stormy Cyclone said, the rabbit hole, the further you go down here, the harder it is to come back out of it. It's not going to take much more for this thing to really be a huge disaster for the Red Raiders. And at least a little bit of a disaster for the Big 12. But again, the Big 12, I think, is going to be fine, no matter where this goes. But the Big 12 could not back down on this. The Big 12 had to do this. They had no other option, in my strongly held opinion. All right, let's get to your phone calls and your super chats and all that good stuff. Eva Badger, $2 holler. We'll get to your phone calls in just a second. Get your popcorn ready for the Big 12 Royal Rumble. I'm going to ask you, Eva Badger. I'm going to ask Mohr After Dark. Has the Red Raiders, have they walked into the ring yet in the Royal Rumble? I would say today is going to be a pretty good indication what the Red Raiders are going to do next. Have they actually entered into the ring? Sort of they have with that 22-minute video. But they were not the ones that officially filed that case. That was Sorsby and Kessler. The Red Raiders did not really have anything officially to do with that. The Red Raiders have not officially gone to court over this yet in any manner, if I remember correctly. So I don't think we're quite at the Big 12 Royal Rumble because I don't think Texas Tech has officially gone into the ring, but they're walking down the ramp with Cody Campbell leading the way. Thank you for the $2 holler. I appreciate it. Mohr After Dark. Greg is so cold. Greg is so cold. Habitability. Greg is so cold that his mere presence legally constitute a breach of implied warranty of habitability. My goodness. Mohr After Dark is saying more legal beagle stuff, more pulp culture stuff. I haven't understood a word that Mohr has said at Peek Around the Corner forever. Forever. Especially, or at College Football Mafia when he downgrades my Golden Gophers. Thank you, Mohr. Thank you for the $5 holler. Again, these shots against the fat guy from Minnesota, against Greg the Gold, are going to be no more in just a few more months. Those days are over. Thank you, Mohr. Thank you. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you for the $5 holler. Rodney Durrett, Texas Tech can't break the law. There is a law that declares Sorsby eligible. The NCAA did this, not Texas Tech. The law declared that the law that ruling in that court had nothing to do with the Big 12. The Big 12 has its own sovereignty. They have their own bylaws that the Red Raiders signed on to. That case was against the NCAA, not against the Big 12. The Red Raiders are under no obligations to play Brennan Sorsby. He's eligible versus the NCAA, but the Red Raiders don't have to play him. They don't have to play him. They should not play him. That's the difference. If a player gets a DUI, then suspended sentence from the court, his football program can still punish him, of course. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's already a huge disaster, Greg. It is. It is. But again, if the Red Raiders can just pull back, like right now, send some message of conciliatory, bringing the fever down. Just Brett Yormark has to act for the other 15 universities. He has to act because the Big Ten, the SEC are looking at the Big 12 going, what the hell's going on? You've got to act. Yormark had no choice, especially when the Attorney General of the state of Texas came into this. The Red Raiders have a choice here. None of this is worth this. Unless, do I dare say it? Do I dare say it? Unless the Red Raiders have looked at all this and said, it doesn't really matter. We should go all the way with this. Because our future is not in the Big 12. We don't care about the Big 12. Something is going to happen. This government entity under Cody Campbell plan, they're going to be able to rearrange the deck chairs on the Titanic. That's part of Cody Campbell's plan. We're gonna have the power. We're not gonna have to answer to the Big 12 in the years ahead. If the Texas Tech, if all the leadership have been convinced by Cody Campbell that they are going to win the day on everything, that there is really no risk to thumb the nose at the Big 12, then, if that's the case, and I'm not saying it is, but if that's the case, then the Big 12, then Texas Tech has nothing holding them back. They're just going to continue to fire shots at the Big 12. Okay, give me a second here. I'm gonna look for any more reports. And then I'm going to open up the phone lines. We'll get to more super chats if they come. Phone lines. Hold on one second, everybody. Hold on. I'm going to check this out. Again, everybody, I appreciate it. We got like 150 people in here on a June 5th, morning of June 5th. Breaking news. Unplanned live show. Big 12 plans to sanction Texas Tech over its intentions to play Brennan Sorsby. Okay, let's get to your phone calls. Phone line is open. 763-260-1333. 763-260-1333. The phone lines are open. Again, I'm looking for more reporting on the
Call from
Rock and Rant.
Rock and Rant. The floor is yours. How you doing, sir? And what do you think happens next?
I'm doing great. I mean, I love this is the best Netflix series ever. It's a binge watch just with a new episode each day. I mean, I don't even mean that it's terrible on one level, but it's fascinating on another.
It is.
I don't know, Greg, whether or there's a lot in that document, so I'm not. And I jumped on a little bit in, so I don't know how much you read, but in terms of Texas Tech put up a smoke signal, back off a little bit. I mean, I don't know if they're going to. If you read that, the Big 12 did ask them or approach them about the fact of they don't think he should play, and Texas Tech indicated they weren't prepared to make that decision. Now, I don't know, how exactly that was worded, but that was the off ramp, right? That was the sort of hey guys, we're going to have to do something about this. How about we just make it easy? And they basically took the path of let's not make it easy. And then the interesting thing would be, when did that conversation happen? Like, when did the Big 12 approach Texas Tech?
Yeah.
Was that before or after the Texas AG came out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if it came after, and then then that's interesting, right? If it came before, that's another interesting level. So I don't know if there is an off ramp. I don't know if Cody Campbell and team want there to be an off ramp. The thing that I wonder about, and I know some people think, well, nobody would take Sorsby in pros or whatever, is when are we going to find out when a hearing or anything's going to happen on an emergency declaration? And if it's not any time in the next 15 days, then this might be an 8D chess move to whatever you think Texas Tech was playing, chess or checkers, Texas AG, because then it's back into Brendan Sorsby going, okay, I felt good about the state court ruling. I got the injunction, and then I got the backing of the Texas Attorney General to make sure that the Big 12 didn't do anything. And now I have a federal court, right, which is, yes, still in Texas, but they can keep going up the food chain. What if that goes south for me after July 1st? And I've seen two different dates of the last date to apply for the supplemental draft. I've seen reported by good reporters June 22nd, others saying June 30th. But either way, right?
Yeah.
So this could be, I mean, if you want to do a massive conspiracy, this is a backdoor way to get out of it with grace by basically making Brendan Sorsby have to decide how much risk he wants to take to being ruled against later versus going towards the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah, the best case scenario when it comes to everybody surviving this is Brendan Sorsby just enters the NFL supplemental draft. The Big 12 has raised the stakes, so it's become more of a risk for him to try to play college football this year. That would be the best outcome, I believe. But how likely is that? I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, logically, they should all do that, right? That is the safest thing for everybody. That is, football does not run your university. It's important, as you always say, it's the front porch.
Yeah.
But it's the front porch. Like, houses live without front porches, right?
Yeah.
They have doors, they have garages, they have other ways to get into the house. Like, there's a lot of great houses that don't have a front porch.
Yeah.
But there's some people in here who travel in circles where you never admit you made a mistake, even if it's plain as day that you have. Even if, on one level, this entire case, it's going to be taught in communication schools at some point. It's going to be a case study of what not to do in crisis PR.
Yeah.
That video will be shown, even if it was targeted towards Texas Tech fans or not. Like, there's no way. You either had to know that everyone was going to see it, regardless of, hey, we're going to Texas Tech fans, or you're grossly incompetent. So you either had an agenda to try to move some persuadables over, or you're completely oblivious. Either way, not good because the judgment wasn't there. So I have a hard time thinking that logically Texas Tech should back off, right? To me, as an outsider who had nothing bad to say about Texas Tech 4 weeks ago, and liked that they were stubbing their nose at the powers that be as an upstart spending money in their program and let people complain about money when money rules everything and always did, just now it's not bags and cars. Logically, they should do that because, yes, you say they can back off, but it takes a lifetime to build a reputation, and it takes a minute to destroy it. And for the university, I just think that they're really risking a lot here in front of somebody who could be a really good quarterback, and has possible first-round draft picks. But their early season schedule is pretty easy until you get to Houston, and then you have Hammond back, who, if you had him not injured, you probably didn't even go after Sorsby in the portal to begin with. I don't really get the end game here.
Yeah. I don't. I really do not get it. I really do not understand. Matt,
and it's hard.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's hard to predict, right? Because everything we're talking about, nobody would have ever predicted.
Yeah.
We never would have predicted. Some people did just to be outliers, and maybe they really believed it that this week the judge would rule against the only thing we all sort of agreed on until the day before. I wouldn't have predicted the 5-man acoustical jam conference room video.
Yeah.
Or going into the press that way, or acting like everyone just doesn't want Texas Tech to succeed because we're being good, when nobody had that issue with Indiana, who actually won the national championship and basically had the same 2-year turnaround thing that Texas Tech has done in a different form. Nobody was ever sitting there doing that. I don't understand. So logically, I would think they would back off. But everything has gone the opposite of chalk, right? We would all be, filling your name the cold on most of these decisions or next moves. So,
yeah. Now, am I right? Am I correct in saying that the Red Raiders, Texas Tech, they haven't done anything in the courts yet involving any of this? Correct? They were not. Correct?
Yeah, they were not party to it. They haven't done anything, quote unquote, technically wrong according to the Big 12 bylaws on paper.
Yep.
They've maybe done things wrong to the Big 12 court of public opinion about supporting Sorsby, not in his recovery, but in his lawsuit before it would happen, going against an injunction that everyone clearly felt was super important as an NCAA rule, and was a rule that as recently as November, the president in that hostage video was terrible. He was terrible because he said, well, everything's changed culturally around gambling.
Yes.
He's not wrong about that, but it was literally last summer that the NCAA, or October, that the NCAA proposed addressing that and letting college athletes at least bet on pros. And the members came back and said, no freaking way, including Texas Tech, and that was October, November, so something 7 months ago.
Yeah.
So that was just completely disingenuous, and that's why they've lost a lot of support, where maybe they could have convinced some people.
Yeah, and that was unbelievable. I watched that whole thing. I could not actually believe that was true. And maybe that's what happens when you use too much black dye for your hair. It seeps into your brain. Because that president, that was, huh?
Texas Tech is an NIL deal for him on the table, I'm sure.
Yeah, but yeah, and it's another example. That guy's not. He was never going to get hired anywhere else, so he doesn't have to play the game of the example that I was describing earlier.
He is on the college football playoff board right now.
Yeah, he is. He is. What? So if you had to, if you had to place your Miami Hurricane chip in the middle of the table, do you think the Red Raiders respond today at all from anybody at leadership, from a post or from a legal matter? Do we hear any response from the Red Raiders in regards to what the Big 12 just did today?
I think that my guess is it's a twofold thing if we hear anything. We might get some bland statements from the administration saying we are aware of the Big 12 filings. We're disappointed. I guess it might depend upon how their board meeting goes today, if anything comes out of that. But
yeah,
Ken Paxton and Cody Campbell, who are not yes, Cody's on the board and Texas AG. They're not quote unquote officially like the operating administration, right? They're not exactly known for like waiting and parsing their words. So yeah. I kind of expect that maybe we hear like one statement on one end, and I'd be surprised if we don't hear from those guys in a way that is that is conciliatory.
Yeah. Wow. All right. I thank you, my friend. I appreciate the phone call.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon, Greg.
You got it, buddy. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable day once again in college football. Thank you, Rock and Rant. I want to show you guys Brandon Marcel's. Hold on.
Call from
Mohr Simmons.
Mohr Simmons, can you hold on for just one moment, please?
Yes.
I do appreciate it. Very kind, sir. I just saw something. Brandon Marcello's reporting. The Big 12 has filed a lawsuit seeking clarity on its authority to sanction Texas Tech without being sued. In the legal filing, the Big 12 reveals it's considering fines and or ban on Texas Tech competing in the Big 12 championship game. Brandon Marcello also adds this. The Big 12's central argument against Texas Tech is that it already agreed. Texas Tech already agreed the conference can do this. The conference points to the 2017 Baylor sanctions, more than $14 million in withheld revenue, and notes that Texas Tech voted for them. The Big 12 exercised the same bylaw 3.6 authority then. I think that would have to do with the Bryles, the head coach of Baylor football, that whole thing. And the Red Raiders gave the conference authority to sanction Baylor Bears on that. Anyways, Mohr Simmons, thank you for calling. I appreciate your patience. The floor is yours, sir.
Yes, Greg. One thing I want to say is this. Texas Tech don't have a firewall. I mean, there's evidently there's no firewall there. They done blew past every off-ramp to get off this nightmare highway that they own.
Yeah.
And so my thing is there's nobody there to stop Cody Campbell and the upper echelon of the administration. The school administration, once all this is over with, they have done much damage to Texas Tech. I mean, they have really tarnished Texas Tech. Now, I'm listening to people talking about Cody Campbell in the NFL. I'm going to be honest with you. The NFL got enough problems on their plate with some of the players that are currently in the NFL and the things that are going on, the shenanigans there. When you know you got a guy that gamble on his team and everything, knowingly now, everybody to see this, there's no way the NFL is going to touch this. Just like you piling on more mess into the NFL. They're not going to touch this kid. I hate to break the news, but the NFL just cannot take this kid on. And if they do, who's going to babysit this kid 24/7 to make sure he stand up and follow through what he has to, because that's basically what you're going to have to do. He got an addiction.
Yeah.
He can't control it. So, look, I mean, hey, look, this is not utopia. The kid just told everybody what's going on. And somebody should have grabbed the wheel a long time ago in this kid's life when they seen it. Too many people have known this kid was gambling. I mean, with all the reports that came out, family, friends, everybody out there gambling for the kid. So you can't feel bad for it. Hey, everybody, there's other people that allowed this to go on. And that's the key word. They allowed this to go on. Cody Campbell, what is it that you're doing to help this kid? Because basically, you're doing the same thing. You are allowing it. You are excusing the whole mess. Same thing, Texas Tech, what you doing? You are allowing this. Ain't nobody helping this kid. Only thing they see is what they can get on the other side if this kid was to play. And that's just a short-time win. And the only thing, even if they let this kid play, I don't think he should even get in, Texas Tech shouldn't even be in the college playoff.
Yeah.
So that's where I stand on that.
Yeah.
That's my rant. That's my rant because I'm seeing people talking about, well, he going in. No. He's not going in the NFL. He wanted to get into the Canadian Football League.
Well, the United Football League. How about the United Football League?
He might get there.
Yeah.
I mean, he might get there.
He'd help with the league's exposure and, viewership probably a little bit.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah.
But great show, Greg.
All right. I appreciate it, Mr. Simmons. Thank you for calling, sir.
All right.
Beautiful. Mr. Seminole.
Call from
Evil Badger.
Evil Badger, can you hold on for just a moment, please?
Yes.
I do appreciate your patience, sir. Chris Vanini from The Athletic, again, pointing out one of the major news stories in this breaking news, one of the major points. Per the Big 12 filing, in the past week, so that goes to the question that Rock and Rant had earlier in his phone call. When was it communicated that the Red Raiders intended to play Brendan Sorsby? According to Chris Vanini, it filed in the report, per the Big 12 filing, in the past week, last week, Texas Tech communicated its intent directly to the conference to field Sorsby in conference football games. So that's within the last week. Maybe that doesn't completely answer Rock and Rant's question, because he was asking whether before or after the Attorney General of Texas filed his thing or made his statement known. I'm guessing it was before, but either way, it doesn't matter. The Red Raiders have communicated directly to the Big 12 that Sorsby is playing. So there's none of this like, oh, we're evaluating Sorsby, we're giving him the help that he needs, he might not even play, he's far away from playing. The Red Raiders have directly told the Big 12, we intend to put him on the football field. Against all the rules, against the one rule that we all agreed upon in the last 100 years of competition. Ryan Willie, thank you so much. I do appreciate your phone call. The floor is yours.
Hi, Greg. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy.
You asked, are they in the ring yet? So, in my scenario, Yormark and Cody Campbell are in the ring, and ADs and chancellors are getting ready to circle the ring before they get into the ring to have the Royal Rumble, because I think this is going to get down and dirty between Texas Tech and the Big 12. At some point, I actually think the Big 12 might actually vote to expel Texas Tech if they actually go through with playing Sorsby in. And hopefully the federal judge will overrule the state court and not allow Sorsby to play, because this will affect the entire college football world.
Yeah, it will.
Not just Texas Tech, not just the Big 12, but the entire college football world.
It would affect the locker rooms, right? You got a young 18-year-old kid coming in, and he's got a friend telling him, look, if you gamble, you're probably not going to get caught. And if you get caught, it's only going to cost you a couple of games. That's the infection. That is what we cannot allow in college sports. Go ahead, sir.
But it will also affect future NFL draft picks and all that. Because if these players think they can gamble without any repercussions, and they want to go to the NFL, it's going to affect the NFL, because the NFL won't put up with this crap.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I honestly hope that the federal judge does not allow Sorsby to play.
Yep.
Sorry, Texas Tech fans, but like I said, Cameron Cody, with all the money he has, can't buy anything he wants. And
Yep.
I just think it's selfish of him to even allow Sorsby to play instead of taking care of his addiction.
Yep.
But that's all I had, Greg.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate it.
All right, thanks for taking my call.
Thank you very much,
bye.
sir. Appreciate it. Beautiful call. Eva Badger. There's something else that I want to get to here. Let me see if I can find it.
Call from
All right.
Rick, the floor is yours. Thank you for calling, sir. I appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, Ray.
Good morning.
I'm wondering if the reply from Texas Tech isn't going to be that it's a states' rights issue. If they're going to take that approach in their reply to the federal court.
State issue in regards to... Oh, I got it, because they took it to the federal court.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they'll say that, no, this is a states' rights issue, and it doesn't belong in federal court.
I suppose they could. And I suppose if that happens, we'll probably find out pretty quickly if they make some pronouncement on that.
And regardless of which way they go, doesn't matter. There'll be an appeal by the other side.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
this will be around a while.
Yeah, it will. Unless, and I'm probably being very naive here, unless Texas Tech actually says, or the young man says, okay, I'll go to the NFL supplemental draft. This isn't worth it. In some way, somehow, Texas Tech, Brendan Sorsby backs down from this.
Well, I don't think you'd be naive about that happening, but I think you'd be naive if you thought that the Big 12 was going to forgive and forget.
Yeah, but
This is going to be
Yeah.
is going to be held over their heads for decades.
well, you mean the Red Raiders? Again,
Yeah.
they haven't really. I mean, they've done wrong in the sense of taking the Big 12 through all this and even thinking that they would be able to play this young man. But they haven't quite, in my opinion, they haven't quite done the dirty deed of going through with this.
Well, fans will disagree, I think.
Who?
Fans.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
The other side, maybe you can help me with my memory. Remember the Tennessee lawsuit? The state of Tennessee?
Wow, which one is that? What?
I don't know.
They've been in a lot of.
From last summer, I think. I don't remember either. I was hoping you could help me remember what that was about.
No.
When the state of Tennessee got involved and sued. But I don't remember what that was about. But I was going to try and compare this case
Yeah.
to that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir. I
That's
don't
all right.
remember.
I'll go back and Google it.
Got it.
And then the other thing is, have you seen the and I know you've been so busy, you got no time for it, but basically the deals this weekend with Paramount and with Fox?
Paramount, the deal that Paramount has got, they're in the clear on their deal with Warner Brothers. Is that what you're talking
Yep.
about?
Yep.
Yeah, and there is news today that Fox has acquired Roku.
Yep.
So, woo!
You don't think that's college football wide open?
I don't know what Yeah, I mean, $22 billion. That's basically Fox going, well, we'll go ahead and control everybody's remote control, that has Roku device, right? I don't know. These things are so far above what I don't even quite understand all these deals, Rick. But it's about control, right? It's about access. Some of it's about money, some of it's about content. This is about access.
Definitely about access. Yeah. And having enough equipment to be able to feed all the games you want to feed.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Oh, and by
Great.
the way, I hung up on you yesterday. You didn't hang up on me.
Okay. Oh, good. I just wanted to let you know that I did not hit a
no-
button. Sometimes
no
I
worries.
screw up, though. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah. Kenneth Maynard, it's not a states' right issue. The Big 12 covers multiple states. Al Bundy, Sorsby could end the circus today.
From
Dave B.
Dave B, thanks for calling. Can you hold on for just a moment, please?
You got it. Thank you, Greg.
I just wanted to highlight Pete Thamel's take
Beautiful.
on this. ESPN, Kansas Attorney General joins the Oklahoma Attorney General in support of the Big 12 as he states the league should not be intimidated. Pete Thamel, this lawsuit is basically the Big 12's way to tell everyone they won't be pushed around by Texas Tech. The Big 12 lists the Texas Tech Chancellor, the President, Athletic Director as defendants. I also want to point out one other story that is out there that I'm not going to be able to get to today. And, Yeah, we've talked about it a couple of times. The Ohio State athletic director, Ross Bjork, has come out and basically said, breakaway. The Big Ten's not really thinking of a breakaway. We want to be able to do some things on our own. Like, I think they really want to change the rev share cap, and they're looking at, he talked about the difficulties of collective bargaining, all these different state rules. But Ross Bjork is really talking about the Big Ten is like, maybe there's a way to get some representation of the players, and they have to play. They sign on with some entity, but then they have to play for like the Buckeye. All these things that we covered at a Peek Around the Corner early peak Cloak and Dagger episode, and then we talked about it live. The blueprint of the Big Ten's so-called breakaway. Ross Bjork, we'll go through it. I think we'll probably hit it tomorrow. I don't think we're going to hit it today. But Ross Bjork basically saying in public what we told you guys a week ago, the Big Ten blueprint, these crazy ideas they're thinking about. How do they get representation of the players without being a union, without being employees, but somehow, some work it out where there's another party in play. Again, Ross Bjork mentioned it today in public. We told you in a Peek Around the Corner, and we went live with it. The Big Ten is looking at some sort of cap, new cap, bigger cap, a soft cap, and some sort of representation somehow, some way, but not really true collective bargaining, yada, yada, yada. Don't know what that would look like, but that is what the Big Ten is looking at. But Ross Bjork said, not a true breakaway. We're not looking at a real breakaway. So that was Ross Bjork, the Buckeyes athletic director, said publicly here yesterday, and it was reported today. Go ahead, sir. The floor is yours. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, you got it, Greg. I hope you're doing well. I guess I'm calling in to vent, but also want to thank you as well. I think you probably take greater grief than is apparent to us. I see with in this case here with Texas Tech, lots of fans doubling down on their opinions. They just want whether it's everyone else other than Texas Tech or Texas Tech, they want their team to win. And just over this weekend, I mean, I even got some emails unsolicited yesterday based on a comment on a fan board of one of my teams, demanding that I no longer, so the player suspended, you guys can figure out who it is, for the year and not playing for my college football team. I got an email from a peer I don't know that well, demanding that I refer to the suspended wide receiver as the victim and not the complainant in his criminal case. And then I see you lately with the stuff in the chat room taking grief. And this morning somebody took a run when I was watching last night's John Kurtz video, taking a run at him, getting really personal, just defending their, in these cases, Texas Tech. And last night at the UFC card, some folks probably saw it, they didn't put a fighter on a 7-second delay who in his last fight went on a racist tirade. And sure enough, he did again last night. And we see Spurs fans getting beaten up by Knicks fans for wearing a jersey. And I'm just thinking, man, I think as a kid, I used to wonder why India and Pakistan had to play in an empty stadium in Toronto. And it was due to the violence in their home countries. And I this off season, we're not even at the end of hockey and basketball season. So we're going to have 2.5 months to beat on each other verbally until football season. I just don't know what to do, but I appreciate, hosts like yourself and John managing to keep your cool. And I hope all of us fans can do the same. It's really, it's not about, we can't let the sports go to crap because we want our favorite team to win.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the kind words. You got to learn quickly. It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
I've sort of put a rule in place for my own well-being. I don't mind if people disagree with me. I don't mind if they passionately disagree with me. Just here in the last 2 hours in the chat room on videos that I made yesterday, a Penn State Nittany Lion fan really disagreed with my take on the Spotlight series that we did yesterday, and it sent 3 or 4 long posts in the comment section under one of the videos. And that's fine because I'm putting my opinion out there. Other people should be able to passionately put their opinion out there. So all that stuff is great. That's why we put this show on, right? We talk college football. We talk about the sport we love. But when it gets into the personal, and sometimes it does, that kind of wears on you, and eventually you just have to cut it off. And I've had to make some tough decisions lately because people got into the real personal stuff. And then for whatever reason, I have on this show, there have been a handful of people that have gotten into the content control. They really want to control the content of this show, which really makes me freak out. Like, what are you talking about? I don't want to get blackmailed in talking about what I want to talk about on this live show. But I do appreciate the kind words. But most of this stuff comes with the territory, and you've just got to, it's part of it. It's part of the whole thing. But I appreciate it. Go ahead, sir.
Oh no, that's it. No, I mean I my dogs even know you as the guy that lives inside my big TV set. So, you're part of the lives of everybody that listens, and that's tough. I mean, you're someone mentioned yesterday. There's more and more of your personality come out, which we love, and you're making yourself vulnerable. Mm-hmm. You're singing. You're telling us specifics of what the little general is making for dinner, and so people who want to be mean can jump on that, and it's just so. Thank you for continuing to trust us.
No problem. Well, I don't see why. I don't see how I'm opening myself up vulnerably when I sing, because it's so good. It's so good.
That's true.
So I don't know how I'm opening myself up, but thanks again, sir.
Well,
I appreciate it.
Your singing is as good as your picks in 2026 are going to
be. Okay. All right.
Okay. Thanks, Greg. Keep up the great work. We love it, and a whole bunch of us watch every episode. So
I appreciate it. Thank you. Very kind. Wow. Looking for other reporting here.
From
John Grove.
John Grove, can you hold on for a second?
Yeah, of course.
I appreciate it. I just want to get, there has been another report on the actual filing. This is from Trey Wallace. If you are curious as to what the Big 12 could potentially do to sanction Texas Tech, prohibitions on appearances in postseason events or televised events such as conference championships and restrictions on revenue distribution. This will get interesting. Let me show you that part of the filing here. I'm going to put up on the board. There it is. If a supermajority, line 28 of the filing, if a supermajority of the disinterest directors determines that any of the grounds exist to sanction a member, the bylaws 3.6 empower the supermajority in its sole discretion to determine whether any sanctions are appropriate, the type, extent, and conditions to any sanctions imposed, and impose such sanction as a member dependent in each case on factors that a supermajority disinterested directors deems to be relevant, including but not limited to the severity of the harm of the conference taken as a whole resulting from the action or inaction of the member, and a non-exhaustive illustrative list of exemplar can be imposed. Identify prohibit an appearance. So basically, the appearances in postseason events or televised events, such as conference championships, and restrictions on revenue distribution. So that is what the Big 12 is looking at. Some monetary fine, and it'll be done by restriction of the revenue distribution, and possibly a sanction banning Texas Tech from playing in the Big 12 championship game. John Grote, thank you for your patience. Very much appreciated, sir. The floor is yours.
How are you doing, Flug?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Doing all right. I think it's a little bit ironic that you're requiring an injunction to enforce your own bylaws that all schools in your conference have agreed to follow as well. So, I mean, to me, I think this personally speaks louder to. I mean, you want to be going through all this with just a fine. I think there's going to be some serious things that are in play here as far as Tech and the television aspect you mentioned there with the potential championship ban and something like that. So we'll see if it gets to levels like that. But I do want to kind of go on a quick monologue here. I feel as if Texas Tech has been under fire, and more specifically for their fans. I can't speak for other people, but I think a lot of people feel this way. For me personally, I feel a lot of people keep taking shots towards Cody Campbell as far as this Brandon Sorsby situation goes. It's totally unrelated. I mean, it's unrelated to Cody Campbell infusing them with money and via NIL and all that. Yeah. It has nothing to do with that. The Brandon Sorsby thing is a legal thing that, frankly, most of us don't understand because this has been the one golden rule of sports for my entire lifetime. You don't bet on your own sport, let alone your own team, and this young man did it. And for all of us who have been around sports, that has always been you're done, and it should be. But it's not now because some fool in Texas, a judge, an old retired judge, decided otherwise. Now, personally, I want Texas Tech fans back because the money and now being in the crosshairs of this controversy has kind of turned them against everyone else. And I interact with a Texas Tech fan who on online who made a great point. They feel like everyone attacks them for having the money. But I don't see it that way, but I also wasn't looking at it that way either. I personally don't have any ill will towards Texas Tech being infused with a large amount of NIL money. In fact, I think the Big 12 desperately needs for a bell cow to follow. It was Oklahoma for many years. Texas doesn't understand that. It wasn't them, but it was in football. You have to have Oklahoma out there, and from a K-State standpoint, and I'm sure I could say this from a lot of Big 12 teams, K-State would have never reached its heights without Oklahoma being out there from the point Bob Stoops has hired on. It gave the program something to chase and something to achieve, not just be the mythical team out in front. You have to get there, and you have to earn it. And Texas Tech, to be completely honest with you, brings that back, and I think Brett Yormark knows it too. I think Tech's really good for the conference being on the national stage. I think the pushback really isn't from as much as the Big 12 teams, not as far as overall. I mean, the gambling situation is an entire problem on its own, but I don't think the pushback isn't really as much from the Big 12 as the country club of the SEC and the Big 10, who don't think a lowly Big 12 team should be aspiring to such greatness. That's not what it's all about. Tech fans have kind of lost who they are, but I'm hoping they're able to kind of get back into their senses here after this is all said and done, because they were pretty much they've pretty much been a backbone for the conference. If you didn't know, Flug, K-State and Texas Tech it was the first Big 12 conference game in 1996. They've also got a golf tournament that their alums and donors always play before every football season when the two teams go up against one another. So hopefully this could be pushed off to the side, and hopefully we can see a better world prevail. But they seem to have already decided that they're backpedaling them, but a better approach would have been, the judge says he got to set out 2 games, which I don't understand. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Because if it was a violation of NCAA rules, why doesn't the initial penalty that everyone else has got stand up, but they should have said at one point we evaluate? Because now they've endorsed him. They endorsed a gambler, a person who quite literally committed a crime, and now he's coming back. They can try to backpedal, but we know he'll be back. We'll know he'll be back. Now Texas Tech is wanting to try and make him come back and play because they don't want to see their NIL investment go down to the side. It's all over the place. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I just a monologue I wanted to throw out there. Side note as well. TCU unveiled their football uniforms for the game in Ireland against North Carolina. I don't know why everybody's despising it, but they look pretty cool. They got the horn spikes on the collars. So I don't know. I just thought that was cool. I
had not seen it. I'm gonna have to look for that, or send me a DM on that.
It should be on the I can send you it right now.
And I'll show it up on here on the screen.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, that's all I called about. But
okay.
You have a good one.
I appreciate it, John Grove. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Anthony Mazzano. I'm not excusing what Brian did, but Pandora's box was open once you allow sports books in to the stadium. Thank you, Anthony Mazzano, for being a member for 5 months. Holy smokes. You are officially knighted once again, Anthony. Cloak and Dagger College Football. Thank you so much for being a part of our family. 5 straight months. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I'm not excusing what Brendan, I think you meant to say, but Pandora's box was open once you allow sports books into the stadium. I don't think that, again, I don't think that's opening up Pandora's box. I just have to respectfully disagree. Every student athlete, every competitor knows they cannot bet on the sport that they play in. They're told that. Brendan Sorsby was told that as a freshman at Indiana. But he's got an addiction. He cannot play. Announcers. When announcers announce a game in football, college football, those announcers are restricted. They cannot put a wager on that game. If they do, they get fired. That's in all these announcers' contracts. Fox, ESPN, all of them. They have restrictions. Sometimes in life you have a restriction. It doesn't, there's alcohol all over the place. You cannot drink and drive. It's a restriction on your alcohol consumption if you're going to drive. If you're going to stay at home, not a restriction. If you are a football player, college football player, there's a restriction. It does not matter. I don't care if the sports book is in every seat and every chair of that football stadium. Just my opinion, but thank you, Anthony Manzano. Thank you very kind, sir, for being a member for 5 months. I do appreciate it. Just my opinion. Shout out to my Hurricanes. $2 holler. Kenneth Maynard. Stanley Cup champions. again, Carolina Hurricanes, Stanley Cup champions. I mean, congratulations and everything, but I got to be honest with you. I'm bitter. I am bitter. I see the Hurricane, all Carolina fan. Oh, they're so excited. Congratulations. I see the New York Knicks fans, right? Oh, we haven't won a world championship since how many years? 1973 or something like that. Oh, the pain, the agony. And it has been pain for the Knicks fans. But you know, the state of hockey, the state in this country that supports hockey, that's got more hockey players, it's the state of hockey. We can't win a Stanley Cup. We can't win a Super Bowl. We can't do anything in this state. I am the re-elected mayor of Louisville City. I am so bitter. I cannot watch the celebrations. That's how bitter that I've been. That's how bitter I have become. I am that grumpy old man behind the microphone. Congratulations, Hurricanes, I guess. We've got a hockey rink. We've got indoor hockey rinks, outdoor hockey rinks in the winter, all over. We've got hockey rinks everywhere in the state. Every town you go to, you go up to the Iron Range. I don't care where you're going in Minnesota. You see a lake and you see a hockey rink. Indoor, outdoor, everywhere. We've got kids 1, 2, 3 years old playing hockey. The high school tournaments, every arena in the state is absolutely jam-packed. This state consumes hockey at a level that no other state even comes close. And we can't win a Stanley Cup. We cannot win a Stanley Cup. We can't even win the NCAA National Championship, the University of Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota, Duluth, they win them. This state still, but not the University of Minnesota, the one that produces the most NHL players, the most money, because I am the re-elected mayor of Louisville City. And the bitterness is overwhelming. The pain is I cannot. Congratulations. Congratulations to the Hurricanes, to the Knicks, and to everybody else out there. 1991 was a very long time ago, Stephen Vitt. 1991. Congratulations. Huge hockey plex in Raleigh. Sorry, I apologize, Mr. Maynor. I absolutely apologize. Absolutely apologize. As for Rutgers alum, you have no sympathy for me. All right. I don't get any sympathy from anybody at Dante's, not even the little general. So, more updates on the NCAA filing, Greg. Now, where is this? What's going on? What is going on? Oh, breaking news. Thank you, Rock and Rat. We've got breaking news. You got to be a lawyer to do this show. And I am not a lawyer. Justin Williams reports more Brendan Sorsby news. The NCAA filed an emergency motion to stay the temporary injunction granted by Lubbock County Court, as well as a motion for for expedited appeal and briefing schedule in the Court of Appeals in the 7th District of Texas. Holy smokes. So, the NCAA has acted. The National Collegiate Athletic Association, the appellant v. Brendan Sorsby, the Honorable Courts of Appeals, the reasons of relief. This appeal arises from appellee Brendan Sorsby ineligibility of the 26-27 collegiate football season due to admitted gambling. This court may set a trial, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, we're not going to go through all that. So the NCAA has acted, filed an emergency motion to stay, to pause the temporary injunction granted by the Lubbock County Court, as well as a motion to expedite appeal briefing the scheduled Court of Appeals, 7th District. So I asked the question again. I asked the question again. I asked the question again. Big 12, they did what they did. Federal court filed a complaint. NCAA, are we going to hear from anybody at the leadership of Texas Tech today? Be it a legal matter, an official legal matter, or some sort of announcement, some sort of posting, some sort of whatever. Are we going to hear from Texas Tech today? I'm going to put that up in the poll right now. That is the poll. Are we going to hear from Texas Tech today in any manner or form, I should have said, regarding the actions of the NCAA and the Big 12 today? We had also heard today that Sorsby did lend somebody or forwarded somebody $5,000 to bet for him after he officially became a Texas Tech on the roster. That was also in the report today. Rock and Rant, NCAA is requesting a final decision by August 28th, which makes a lot of sense. I don't know if this was a coordination. I doubt it was. Tom DeBay, great coordination between the Big 12 and the NCAA. I'm thinking it probably wasn't. Hey, Greg, my Blackhawks have won the Cup earlier than the North Stars. Well, the North Stars never won the Cup. The Wild has never won a cup. That's my point. The Blackhawks, yeah, they have. The evil Chicago Blackhawks. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I think we're going to lock it up here. We've been on the air for 2 hours on an emergency live show. We still got over 150 people in here, but again, we're planning on coming on later tonight to cover all the news that happens after this. So, we did not even do our spotlight today. This was an emergency live show. Later on today, when we do the spotlight, when we do our regular show, the spotlight is going to be on the Stanford Cardinal. Davis Warren, the quarterback, the transfer from Michigan. McCuff Ford, the running back. Caden High, wide receiver. Benji Blackburn, the tight end that they're expecting big things this year. Got in a little bit of action last year. And the great linebacker, Matt Rose, the leader on the defense. We'll talk about Stanford. We'll talk about everything else that's going on in college football. And we're going to be talking about whatever happens, whatever gets reported, whatever the Texas Tech Red Raiders do this today after all this has happened. We'll talk about it later tonight on our second live show of today. So make sure you subscribe. Turn on those notifications because we can come on live again at any time. Buckle up, brace for impact, keep your head on a swivel. I do want to thank Mr. Mazio, Eva Badger, Moen After Dark, Kenneth Maynard, and Anthony Mazzano for your support, your donations. I very much appreciate it. Until next time, which is going to be later today, from all of us at PATC to all of you, please you all take great care of each other. And as always, God, family,